Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of making this beautiful little cottage right here. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, we've covered most of the modeling bits right there, so if you're interested in that, please go check part 1. If you're interested more on materials side, then feel free to stay. Alright, let's start off with adding a material. So what we were gonna do is let's tap Z and go into rendered viewpoint, shift A, and then add light source sun. And then now you can see there's light source projecting onto your cottage. So let's just tap RZ and RY to kind of rotate to a light projection that we want. For me, I just want both sides to be bright enough to be visible, but then leave this kind of subtle soft shadow within it as well. So let's roughly aim for a 45-degree angle for this one. Okay, now we tap the base and add new material and then go to base color, click on this color wheel, and I'm just going for a more green pastel-y color and name the material grass. Okay, let's tap into edit mode, select the bottom part of the land. Let's tap into the plus icon and then select a warmer brown or any brown you like, and then just go ahead and click assign. Let's go ahead and name this mud. Okay, so materials comes in really handy because we can reuse them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make these two patches the same material as mud. I'm just making it slightly lighter and brighter right here. And the same for other objects, you could just like select on it and add a new material or reuse a material. And that's pretty much of the full logic of what is happening here. What we can also do is to select multiple objects and then make sure the last one that you selected is in active mode, which is the yellow outline. Control L and then link material. And that's the easiest way to kind of connect materials that you want to have the same color or texture. I'm just fixing some placements of the stones right here because I figured out it was floating in mid-air. So grab Z and then just bring it down. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and assign materials to the ceiling, the roof. Let's do the same color as the mud. Control L again to link materials, and in here I'm just gonna go ahead and reuse the wooden material. For the body of the cottage, I would like to assign a very light beige color to it. Something like this, I think looks really nice. And for the body part, I would like different colors. So let's go and hit that plus icon again. Select the parts that we want a different color. And select and assign. I think something darker will look nice. So for the extruded parts, I also want it to be the same color as the very bottom rim. So here I'm just gonna select their faces and then hit assign. The other side as well. Oops, let's select all the faces that we want to have that coral color. And then remember to select on the coral and assign. And bam, here we have it. Cool. So I'm just adjusting some bits here. Also, you can always pause the video to adjust the small details that you want to do. For the roof, I'm just gonna do a dupe color from the coral by selecting the coral and hitting the duplicate icon here. Then it separates into another material but based on the original material that you had. Here, I'm just gonna use this original coral color and then make it a little bit more saturated. Let's go ahead and select all of the roof tiles and Control L, link material again. Okay, now let's just select the roof again and then tap into edit mode and hit the plus icon again, and then I'm just gonna assign a new material to the faces so to add spiciness to it. And here I'm just gonna name my materials one by one, which you should really do this because it's easier to find them when you need and it's easier to distinguish them. You don't have to follow all the material names that I have here, because maybe you're going for a different color or maybe you're going for a very different approach. So just name whatever that suits you most. And now we're just going to make the material for the window, and I'm just gonna select a wood material here for the frame. Actually, maybe I'll do the mud one because it's nicer. And then let's tap into edit mode again and then select the 3 faces, and I'll just scroll down to Emission, turn it up to the brightest color that we have and make it slightly blue, and then hit assign, and here we have an emission window. So let's click into this camera little icon and go into cycles, because I think we're going to render in this mode. And then go back into the material tab. We will turn on the transmissions and scale down the roughness, and then bring up the emission strength. This is very important because that makes it glow much more. Here I'm just going to adjust the light source color a little bit more bluish. Again, this is a very personal preference on what color emission you want to have, so just take your time in playing with those colors around. So now, as you can see here, I'm trying to experiment with the light source in order to create more contrast with the emission created by the window. But then I think the sunlight is a little bit too strong for this case, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit X and delete this. And now I'm going to shift A, add an area light, and G, and then scale it up by S. And then now I'm just going to rotate it so that the light directs onto the cottage. Let's go into the light tab and turn the power up to 50. And I'll just set the color intensity to very orange so that it has this sunset kind of vibe. Press Shift D to duplicate and then put this at the front and then the other 45°. And for this one, I'm gonna have it scaled to 80 for the power and the color to a more yellowish light. Cool. Let's now go into the world tab and then select the color. And then you can see it used to be a dark gray, but we want it to be kind of a light blue-ish. This affects how the shadows work within your illustration. And then here I am just going to adjust the intensity of the orange light. I think we could scale this up a little bit more, maybe like that. And then we'll bring the yellow light closer to the cottage so that we can make the sunset light more obvious. And then because we're using a very orangey and yellowy light source, so it's better for our world to be the contrasting color, which is blue. And for most of the time, this is the best color combination to work for the lightings. And for here, I'm just applying the materials to the remaining bits that we didn't assign materials to. Like for example, the chimney and the little cylinder on top of the roof. So here I am just experimenting and applying recycling materials again, like what we did on the start. I have also tuned the world color intensity to a brighter color so that the whole illustration will look more pastel-like. Okay, so for the doorknob material, I would especially like to talk about it because it's not as straightforward as the other materials. Instead, for the doorknob, after assigning the brass yellowish color, we would like to scroll down to the materials tab and then scale up the metallic and turn down the roughness to give it more of that brass look. And then again, let's press Ctrl L to link materials to ensure the whole doorknob is the same material. And we'll just continue applying other small detail materials to the other bits. And for here, I'm just switching the positions of the windows because I like the other side with 2 windows more. With that camera angle, I feel like we could show more. But then, of course, this is also optional. You don't really need to follow me on this one. It's just me being really picky on how it would be rendered out with the angles and stuff. So, yep. And at this point, while I was playing with the lightings, I figured out that it would look more natural with the sunlight source. So I just had it with a hint of yellow and had it really, really subtle, so that it really gives the illusion that you have a very natural lighting that's happening right here. Okay, so last but not least, let's get into the render settings. Let's tap into the camera icon and make sure the render engine is cycles. And then let's scroll down to hit the denoise box and also the transparent box if you don't want a background like me, because I'm going to build the thumbnail for this render. You can go to the color management tab and you could see look, and then with that tab you can control whether you want a high contrast, medium contrast, or whatever. For me, at this case, I'm going for a high contrast one. And of course, if you feel like the camera is not set to an angle that you like, feel free to hit R, Z, or R, Y, R, X, whatever, to just rotate the camera. And once you're done, just go ahead and hit the render on the top and render image. And then just wait for the render to happen, and when it's done, go ahead and tap save image and save it in a format that you like or whatever destination that is best for you to access in the future. But yeah, congratulations, we're done here. Really good job, guys. And truly, really thank you for any one of you who actually made it to the last bit of the tutorial. I know it's been a long progress since I've uploaded part 2, but thank you for sticking around, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you. Bye bye.